Any questions or opening statement?
Yeah, go ahead.
Questions?
Can you address the decision to have Casey Tominaga walk on senior?
Yeah, it's it's an exciting night for all of our seniors tomorrow, and this is Derek's third senior night. It's Sam's second that they'll be involved with, and Emmanuel, we're going to honor him with everything that he helped provide for our program, and for Casey. Obviously Casey is a senior, and the biggest reason for him to walk is for his family and his parents who are in town. As all players will have after the season, there's going to be decisions, and Casey obviously has an extra year, and we've talked about the different options that he will have after the season is over, but there's been no decision made on what exactly is going to happen with Casey's future. We've talked about it, and that decision will be made after the season. And there's pros and cons to both, and we'll talk about all those, and at the end of the day, make the best decision for Casey, and talk to his family about it as well. So he will be out there, and a big reason is because his mom and dad are in town. So it's been amazing to see the support that Casey and his family have seen since they've been in Lincoln. It's their first time in the States. And, I think I've watched that clip of his parents in the crowd probably 1,000 times. It's just, it's awesome to see. They're so grateful, very gracious, and had dinner last night with Casey and his mom and dad, and Oleg and his mom and dad as well, which is pretty awesome that they're able to be here as well. So, yeah, those four will walk tomorrow. But, again, the decision on Casey's future will be determined after the season.
A lot of the discussion around Casey's situation is the fact that he can't make NIL money as an international student. Are there ways you guys have potentially looked into helping him out with that, like the women's team do with the Australian players?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know honestly what I can say about that and what I can't say about it, but absolutely, those are things that certainly we will play a factor. I won't say directly what it entails, but those are certainly things that are being discussed.
How frustrating is that, though, that you have a team full of international players and they can't, make money off of their likeness like some of their other teammates and a lot of the other?
Yeah, again, Amy, I really got to be careful on what I say about that. So, again, there are options, and those will all be discussed here in the next couple weeks.
What are his options?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, obviously, as any player can do, they can start playing professional basketball. And, there's a lot of things that we feel, especially the way Casey is playing right now, to put a full season like this together that could really enhance, his professional career. And those will be discussed as well. So, it's just laying everything out there on the table, and then, once again, making the best decision for Casey. And I've had guys that have been one and dones, and I've been the first guy to say, it's time to go. You need to move on. This is, strike while the iron's hot. And it's been beneficial for guys like that. There's other guys that I've talked to about maybe coming back and putting themselves in a better position. Sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't. But, you just try to do everything you can to help them make the best decision possible for their future. And there's so many voices involved with Casey. It's not as many as a lot of these kids that are going through it right now. But, all the discussions will happen at the end of the year, not just with Casey, but with all of our players, as far as what the best route is. We're thankful. You look at Derek, for example. He could have started his professional career last year. I think he's really put himself in a better position just with playing a full season and the way that he has performed. And he's opened up a lot of doors, and I think he's going to profit very well from coming back. Same thing with Griesel, to show that he can do it consistently at this level, at the Power 5 level, is going to be so beneficial for him and his professional career. And he's going to have all kinds of opportunities in front of him. So, there's certain times where the kid comes back and it doesn't work out that way. But, for Derek and Griesel specifically, I think it worked out in a really good way, and I'm happy for them, that they're going to be able to, hopefully profit off of what they've been able to do on the floor this year.
Just for what senior night is, watching these four seniors now walk, representing everything they've done this program has been through, does it make you emotional?
It's going to be a very emotional night, and when you look at what Sam has done, I mean, even talking about it with the team today, you could see there's emotions involved, and it's going to be a very, for what Sam has helped Emmanuel, for that over a little bit over half a season that he played, for what he did for us, for this program, for this culture, and Derek for 4 years together with him. It just seems like he was on campus yesterday, and everything that he went through, to have to sit out that first year and then to sit out a half a season the second year and then to get COVID right after his first game. So really those first 2 years were a wash for him. And then, seeing what he did at the end of last year and how that really put him on a path to have a really, really successful season, and how gratifying it is to see a kid that's been through so much in his life finish out his career in a Husker uniform the right way. And it's gratifying. It really, really is. But it's going to be emotional. And as I talked to the team about, let it be, it should be, and you should enjoy the moment. But once we get past, that time on the court with your family, now we got to flip back to, okay, now we got a game to play. And once that ball goes in the air, you got to put the emotions behind you and go out and execute, because this is a team that I know is going to come in hungry, after what happened in their last one, and they're going to be flying around. And if we have any type of letdown to open up the game, they're going to jump on us. So we have to match that early. All the little things you have to do against Michigan State and the Tom Izzo team. You got to get back in transition. You got to rebound. You have to play physical, or else, as we saw in East Lansing, it could get out of hand in a hurry. But yeah, it's, these guys deserve a lot of credit for what they've done for this basketball program. You see the buzz, the sellouts, the energy in our building right now, and that's because of our seniors, and it's because of the leadership and because of the makeup and what those guys are all about.
Derek and Sam kind of talked about the unique relationship they were able to build in a very short amount of time. As a coach, you look at maybe that relationship. What would you say about it, and how it's grown so quickly?
Yeah, it's really special, and it honestly is one of the reasons Sam Griesel was attracted to this particular situation. It's the opportunity to play with Derek Walker, and you see the chemistry that those guys have on the floor. What you don't see a lot is their off-court chemistry, and those guys are tight. They talk a lot. When they come up into the office, they talk about what they need to do specifically to help keep our team on the right track. And it's pretty cool, to have those meetings and to hear them talk about it, as opposed to me saying, hey, you need to do this, you have to do this to keep us on track. It comes from them a lot. And I know I've talked about this, you're probably getting sick of me hearing it, but when you have the leadership from a player's standpoint, it just makes our life and our job so much easier. And you can see it in the huddles. It's why, it's hard to come back from 17 on Wisconsin. It's hard to come back from 8 down on arguably the hottest team in our league right now in Maryland, and you have to have good leadership on the floor to keep things poised. We get 4 timeouts. We don't get 10 of them. So they have to fix it on their own, and they've done that a lot, and that's because of the leadership of those senior players, most specifically Sam and Derek, since Emmanuel's been off the floor.
Going back on Derek, he didn't get to show much at Tennessee. What did you and your staff see in him to make him a priority in that first class? And did you ever see him becoming the kind of like point forward that he's grown into this year?
No, I mean, they really used him on the low block. That's kind of what Derek's role was, in a very limited role. And you talk about trying to get guys in here that have been through the battles and have experienced winning. And Derek came from a great program, but he didn't have a major role with that. And you see him, just how comfortable he's gotten in the role, but you could see it. He had phenomenal footwork. That was one thing that we did see for him in the post. And playing for Rick Barnes isn't easy now. I mean, Rick gets in those guys' ass, and Derek, I thought playing for a guy like that was a great experience to get all the learning that you have to do early in your career out of the way, playing for one of the great coaches in our game. And when you get guys like that, I had transfers that played for Izzo, and those guys are always ahead of the curve. And it certainly was the case with Derek. And then when he was thrust into a more prominent role as we went on, playing through him more at the elbow and the block, he was so efficient last year as we ended our season, and he's carried that over, obviously, in a big way this year. And I'm proud of Derek, because you hear the stories about what he's been through, but I don't think anybody really realizes exactly what he has gone through to get himself to this point. And it does, again, you talk about the emotions, it does make you emotional for what he's accomplished, and being a role model for his little brother and being the first person in his family to graduate from college. There's just so many special things about that kid, and I know he's a better person today than when he came in here, and that's a big part of what our responsibility is, what our job as a coach, and hopefully a little bit of a mentor, is to hopefully put those guys on a path to success. And it's been gratifying to see Derek where he is today, as opposed to when he first got here.
When you see Michigan State now compared to when you're watching film on them in early January, what tweaks or what do you see how they've evolved throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're very complete. They've got great guard play, and Hauser has been around a long time. His ability to knock down shots. Hall, fully healthy, back in. He played against us the first time, and then had some in and out of the lineup with his foot, but he's fully healthy now. Listen, that performance, besides the last minute at Iowa, was incredibly impressive. What they did, they go in there, they have a 13-point lead late in the game, and that's hard to do against Iowa on the road. So besides the last minute, I thought they played a really, really good basketball game. So we got to be on point. And again, the physicality you have to play with against them. It's obviously important every time you step on the floor, but especially we got out rebounded by 17 the first time we played them. It cannot happen. We can't give up transition. We did a solid job. We can't turn it over. We can't get them confident. But they're so good at pushing it down the floor. As I told our team, we can't come over in the first time out and give them a couple transition baskets and said we told you they were going to play fast. We can't allow that to happen early to get them going and get them playing downhill. They're impossible to stop once that happens.
That last minute they had, did that make you shake your head a little bit too, knowing Tom Izzo and he'll have them dialed in after a game?
I can promise you they're going to be dialed in. I know that for a fact. And again, those first 5 minutes are going to be very important tomorrow night. That's why, you talk about the emotions of senior night. A lot of times you come out a little flat. That can't happen tomorrow night because I know they're going to be juiced up early in this game.
Are they a team that'll just say we're going to just try to guard Casey with one guy? Like, are they confident enough to just kind of roll it out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what a lot of teams are doing. They're just really staying attached to him right now, and that should, if teams do that, open up things for other guys, especially if you're ball screen and they're attached to him. You should be able to take advantage of numbers somewhere on the floor. But they've got great defenders. They're as good as anybody, taking away certain things out of your offense. So, Casey, listen, the way he was guarded in the last one, they didn't leave him much. He still found a way to get into double figures, even though he had some issues with his legs in that game. But, just, again, our guys need to do a good job. We need to hunt him in transition, and our guys have done a solid job with that lately, and just keep screening and keep trying to get him loose, which you saw him in the second half against Minnesota. He finally got loose to hit a three, and continues to do a great job cutting to the basket. And just one last thing, just as far as, having a kid that graduated from Michigan State, just make sure I want to, offer thoughts and condolences to the victims from the shooting a couple weeks ago, the senseless shooting that unfortunately continues to happen. But, that one hit close to home, and, we were on the road, and I stayed up all night watching all the coverages and just, want to make sure, let everybody know we're thinking about the Spartan family and everything that they've gone through.